Hi class, in Chapter 7 we will be introduced to expressions and talking a lot about algebra throughout the lessons. In Lesson 7.1 our focus is going to be order of operations. Learning targets for 7.1 we will be evaluating numerical expressions with adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. We will be evaluating numerical expressions involving exponents and parentheses, and finally justifying the order of operations used to simplify numerical expressions. A lot of key terms in 7.1, just a lot of vocabulary in general for Chapter 7. So take a look at those key terms and make sure that you're focusing on them throughout 7.1. Let's take a look at problem 1 on page 462. There is a reason for the rules. It says up at the top of the page, in mathematics, people follow rules to clarify the order of how to solve problems. Part of these rules include numerical expressions and strategies for calculating values. A numerical expression is a mathematical phrase containing numbers. To evaluate a numerical expression means to calculate an expression to get a single value. Many times, numerical expressions have operations that tell you what to do with each value. The operations in an expression are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So for example, let's consider the numerical expression 8 minus 7 plus 4 minus 3. So let's take a look at Jose's solution and Linda's solution. You can see that Jose is correct in his thinking and Linda is incorrect with the thumbs down. So take a look at both of those answers and the steps that they took in order to come up with their answer, and look at number 1 down at the bottom. It says, what does Jose's solution tell you about how to add and subtract in a numerical expression? So again, looking at Jose, looking at Linda, why is Jose correct? If we take a look at the answer to number 1, I think that we should be adding and subtracting from left to right in order to get the correct solution. So whenever you have an order of operations problem where there is just adding and subtracting, you can just read it like a sentence from left to right in order to get the correct solution. Let's take a look at the top of page 463. If you see our little helper here in the word bubble, just like I mentioned before, if you're adding and subtracting in a numerical expression, you solve it in the same order that you read from left to right. But now let's take a look at number 2. It says, consider the numerical expression 6 plus 4 times 3. It says, what operations are represented in this expression? So go ahead and answer that and answer number 3 as well. Take a look at solution A and solution B and describe the strategies that were used for both of them. If we take a look at number 2, the operations that are represented in this expression, the operations are addition and multiplication. If we take a look at number 3, letter A, the strategy that was used in solution A, first we added the 6 plus 4 and then we multiplied the sum, which was 10, multiplied 10 times 3 to get 30. And for 3, letter B, the first thing that we did was multiply the 4 times 3. We took the product then, which was 12, added 6 to that, and got 18 for our answer. If we take a look at the bottom of page 463, it says, as with adding and subtracting in a numerical expression, there is a certain order to perform the operations when using addition and multiplication. To determine which solution is correct, think about what the expression really means. And we want you to remember here that multiplication is repeated addition. So go ahead and answer letters C, D, and E. If we take a look at letter C, there are 2 ways that you could rewrite that expression: 6 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, or 6 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. In both of those situations, for letter D, you are going to get 18 for your answer. If we look at letter E then, letter B is going to be correct, or solution B is going to be correct. because I must multiply before I add when I am evaluating a numerical expression. Let's skip over to number 6 on page 464. It is telling us to consider the numerical expression 8 times 2 divided by 4 times 3. Now, if we take a look at Deshaun's solution, we can see that he is correct in his thinking. Miko is incorrect in his thinking. The operations that are represented in this expression are multiplying and dividing. So if you take a look down at number 7, it says, what does Deshaun's solution tell you about how to multiply and divide in a numerical expression? Go ahead and answer number 7. So if I only have multiplying and dividing for an order of operations problem, I am going to multiply and divide from left to right in order to get the correct solution, much like I did with adding and subtracting. Up at the top of page 465, again it states just like addition and subtraction, when you have multiplication and division in a numerical expression, you must multiply and divide from left to right. Let's take a look at number 8. It says, consider the numerical expression 8 plus 12 divided by 4. We can see that there is addition and division that is represented in this expression. So let's go ahead and answer number 9. It says the numerical expression 8 plus 12 divided by 4 was again evaluated in 2 different ways, resulting in different values. So go ahead and take a look at solution A and solution B, and I want you to answer letters A through D for number 9. If we look at the strategy for solution A, we can see that they added first. They took the sum 12 plus 8, which was 20, divided that by 4 to get 5 for the answer. For letter B, you can see that the strategy, they divided first, 12 divided by 4, that quotient 3, they then added to 8 to get 11 for the answer. Now, in order to determine which solution is correct, again, we have to think about what the expression really means, and remember that division is just repeated subtraction. So if we take a look at letter C, 12 minus 4 is 8, 8 minus 4 is 4, 4 minus 4 is 0. So 4 can be subtracted from 12 3 times, so that is why 12 divided by 4 is going to give you 3 for your answer. Letter D then, we should know that solution B is correct, and because 12 divided by 4 is 3, and the 3 plus 8 is going to give me 11. So if we look at number 10 at the bottom of page 465, a rule then that we could write, much like we did for multiplication, we want to make sure that we divide before we add when we are evaluating numerical expressions. Take a look at number 11 at the top of page 466. It asks us to evaluate each numerical expression. Go ahead and do letters A through F. And remember to think about the rules that we came up with over the last couple of pages to help you come up with your answers. If I take a look at letter A, I should have 8 for my answer. I'm going to divide before I subtract. Letter B, 4 is my answer. I have to multiply and divide before I subtract. Letter C, 52 is my answer. I'm going to multiply before I subtract. Letter D, 22 for my answer. I'm going to multiply before I subtract and add. Letter E is all division, so I'm just going to read that from left to right. 3 divided by 2, 1 1/2, or 3 halves for my answer. And letter F, again, same thing. I'm going to go from left to right, divide, then multiply. 4 times 2 ends up giving me 8 for my answer. In problem 2, we are going to take a look at exponents and parentheses. Let's take a look first at number 1. It says, consider the numerical expression 9 plus 2 cubed. Go ahead and answer letter A and letter B for number 1. If I take a look at letter A, what does 2 cubed mean and what operation is being used? Remember that exponent tells us how many times we are multiplying that base number by itself. So 2 times 2 times 2 is going to give me 8 for my answer, and the operation that is being used is multiplication. When I evaluate the expression then for letter B, 9 plus 8 is going to give me 17. I evaluated the exponent first because that of course is repeated multiplication, and then I added 9 after that. So first I evaluated the exponents, then I added. Take a look at number 2, and let's consider Doug's incorrect solution and Miguel's correct solution, and go ahead and answer number 3 then at the top of page 467. So if we take a look at number 3 at the top of page 467, we can see that with Miguel's correct solution, we should take a look at exponents being evaluated first and then multiplication after the exponents. Let's take a look at number 4. It says, previously you learned that it did not matter which order you multiplied factors. However, when there are exponents and multiplication in a numerical expression, you need to perform the exponent operation first and then multiply. So go ahead for number 4 and evaluate each numerical expression. Do letters A through H. Let's take a look at our answers for number 4 then, A through H. For letter A, 196, letter B, 76, letter C, 7, letter D, 13, E, 18, F, 120, G, 3, and H, 28. At the bottom of page 467, it says, parentheses are symbols used to group numbers and operations and are used to change the normal order in which you perform operations. For example, you know that 6 plus 4 times 3 is equal to 18 because you multiply first and then add. What if you wanted to add first and then multiply? So number 5 says, if parentheses were added to create the new expression, the quantity of 6 plus 4 times 3, would the solution change? And if so, what is the new value of the expression? Explain your reasoning. So go ahead and do number 5. So yes, we should see that the solution would change. The solution would now be 30 instead of 18. The parentheses are going to tell me to add those numbers first and then multiply after I am done doing that. Let's take a look at number 6 at the top of page 468. It says, consider the numerical expression, the quantity of 3 plus 5 squared. This numerical expression was evaluated in 2 different ways, resulting in different values. Take a look at solution A and solution B. It says to determine which solution is correct and state the reason why one solution is correct and the error that was made in the other solution. So go ahead and do number 6. If we take a look at number 6, solution A is correct. The quantity 3 plus 5 was added first and then it was squared. The parentheses again tell me which operations to perform first. Solution B then is incorrect. Each of the numbers inside the set of parentheses was squared first and then addition was performed. So solution A is the correct way to go for this one. Let's take a look at the top of page 469. It says parentheses group numbers and operations together. Parentheses change the order of how you should perform operations. Any operations in parentheses must be performed first before any other operations in a numerical expression. So go ahead and take a look at letter 8. They want you to evaluate each numerical expression. Do letters A through F. If I take a look at letters A through D, letter A is 64, letter B 37, letter C 9, and letter D 48. For letter E, I should have 13 for my answer, and for letter F, I should have 7 for my answer. To finish up lesson 7.1 on the order of operations, let's take a look at page 470, the talk activity. It says that there is an order of operations, a particular order in which operations are performed when evaluating any numerical expression. The order of operations is a set of rules that ensures the same result every time an expression is evaluated. So go ahead and take a look at those 4 steps for the order of operations rules. It does say keep in mind that multiplication and division are of equal importance and evaluated in order from left to right, as well as addition and subtraction. We talked about that at the beginning of the lesson. We will also be doing a graphic organizer activity to help you remember these order of operation rules. That is going to be it for lesson 7.1. Please let me know if you have any questions on order of operations. Thanks.